You people bought a ticket to see me, so shut up.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you live under a rock,
I might
you
grab
are
at
looking
that, I
at the
don't know, my
youngest
rap, my
and
blood
fastest
boils
rising
over like,
star in
oh God, here
professional
goes. I
wrestling
lost all
today.
feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face just to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you gon' wish you had such a fucked up real bad.
Shut up.
What is up, wrestling fans? We are live. Salute to my co-host you and MK. How are you guys?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Phenomenal.
I'm doing good. And by the way, this goes to show that this is the best wrestling podcast in the history of podcasts because rather it's in sickness or as health, I still bring you this show. And yes, today I'm rocking my Texas Rangers shirt. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to have a grand old time. And please enjoy, because trust me, I had to get through a lot to even put this show on. And by the way, again, I'm sick. Here I am still weekly, giving you the best content that I can to provide to you. But then you got people that don't want to even hop on to do certain shows weekly, like Cough Cough, Michael Caputo. He's never there for the watch-alongs. I'm just saying.
Wow! Look at this guy. This guy is—he's trying to put himself over, isn't he?
But here I am, sick, and I'm still giving you your Hill of the Ring podcast, the most awesome wrestling podcast in the history of all podcasts.
We're already 2 minutes in, and you're already putting yourself over, man.
Hear anything about dedication or anything from anyone anymore on the Jedi Sports Network.
Apparently, heel is top draw in this industry.
Yes, I am.
I guess he is. I guess he is. We'll
even though when he shows up at a live stream, he gets low attendance.
Hey,
you know?
no. Hey, I'm Mr. Guaranteed 1K views. Okay, that's all I'm.
You're guaranteed what pay-per-views?
I'm Mr. Guaranteed 1K views. Okay, on each YouTube video right now.
Okay.
All right. With that said, there was a lot of action going through the world of wrestling and entertainment. Where do you want to start off? You want to start in the major leagues, or you want to start off in the minor leagues?
Well, I did hear that Mr. Alex Cojito will be here around 10 your time, I believe.
Okay.
So we should save probably AEW for him because we might want to dissect that.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah, if you want to start on the WWE, we can start on that. So let's go ahead.
Let's go start off with Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, a lot of action. We saw it first and foremost the segment, and it's starting to become third week in a row. We start the segment off with Rollins, now Cody, and man, 3 weeks in a row, Cody's getting over with the crowd. He is over. The crowd goes bananas. Now we see that they're setting up their match for WrestleMania Backlash. And what's your thoughts on the way Cody Rhodes has been received 3 weeks into his WWE revamp?
I love it, man. I really love the overall presentation with Cody right now. He feels like a big star right now. You know, even with all the promotion that's been going on recently, like the way they promote Raw and SmackDown, he kind of feels like he is the number one babyface on the show, you know? And I'm really enjoying the stuff that he's doing with Rollins right now. And like so far in the last few weeks, WWE has made this guy into a bigger star than what he was before he left WWE. He feels like a main eventer. With the entrance and all of that, it just the overall presentation with Cody, he feels like a main event level star. And I'm happy to see that. So I really enjoy what they're doing with Cody right now in WWE. Even though it's only been for 3 weeks, but it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, same here. This is not only a big thing for Cody as far as like him being over, but this is also a big credit to WWE booking him in the right way, because not only is WWE putting him in a good program with Seth Rollins, they also set up a good future project with The Miz down the line, and they're just booking him so well right now. And so it, in my opinion, I know probably there's going to be some hardcore fans who are going to be like, you are underestimating Cody, how big he is. No, you just have to give credit where credit is due. Right now, this is good on both parts. In terms of Cody just being flat out over, because again, I think, I'll be honest with you, I still think it's a little bit still a WrestleMania hype. Because again, we're only like what, about 3 weeks away from WrestleMania. So yeah. And this is also because he's still booking him really well. So again, how long will this keep up? I don't know. And like I said, I'm still down for Cody beating Roman possibly at SummerSlam, or at least at next year's Mania at the latest.
I don't think it'll make it to WrestleMania, SummerSlam, but there's so much to unpack here with that. With Cody, one thing that's helping him to get him over, not only that he's the star, the Forbidden Star coming over from AEW, but he's also, you gotta also give credit where credit is due with Seth Rollins for picking the right opponent to continue moving and keeping the heat and putting him over. And Seth Rollins, just with the introduction, the persona that he's using, the laughter and going in there, the back and forth cutting the promos that they both had. Cody's improved a lot on cutting his promos with his microphone skills. You put him in there with Seth Rollins, and they're batting it out. They're batting out of the ballpark. Every promo hasn't been a dull moment, even when the crowd interrupts and Cody plays off the crowd, and he picks it up immediately. You see the veteran in Cody Rhodes right now, cutting the promos and feeding off the crowd and getting that pop. Kudos to him and Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things where it's like Cody being in WWE this time around, it just feels right. Like I feel like when he was in AEW, and even though I did enjoy his run in AEW, there was always something that made him stand out from the rest of them. With the over dramatic entrances and the promos and whatnot. That's what's something that was known in WWE, with the overall presentation of the promos and the entrance and whatnot. Him doing it here just seems so perfect. He feels right at home right now, with everything that's going on. Would you agree?
I agree. Like you mentioned, the promos, the elaborate promos, the way he was trying to do his promotion or the promos and cutting in there, it didn't feel like AEW. It felt WWE-ish,
Yeah.
And like you said, it fits home, because even when he first came out, if you recall, he took Triple H's throne and bashed it, and that looked more like WWE type of cut. So I get what you mean. What's your thoughts, Heel?
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and give him a shout out, because like he does do some of the AEW reports for the show. Adam, actually, he said he feels like a lot of his promos have been scripted, and that's why he feels kind of iffy on them. And I'm just like, I'll be honest with you, like, yes, original promos, they can feel a lot more better, but just because this promo's scripted or not, it doesn't really matter. I'm like, as long as the promo's great or good, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes, here's the thing: wrestlers are just different. So some of them are good at scripted promos, some of them are just good off the cuff.
I
The Miz,
100% agree.
yeah, the Miz is good at doing both. Cody is good. I feel like at doing a little bit of both. And right now, Cody, he's just feeding off of, I feel like, a good story. And there's just right now all I can say is right now Cody just has really good momentum. That's really like the long story short.
Yeah.
He has
Right.
great momentum right now, and the only way this can mess up is if the fans get bored of him. I feel like.
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, one thing, got to check it out. He's got to be able to reinvent himself because right now, and he doesn't need to currently right now. My point is the old persona that's going to motivate this Cody and continue to put him over with the fans and not being stale is he's trying to break a rose, not just a family rose curse of getting that world title. None of the Rose have ever won a world title. So as long and you know how real hardcore wrestling fans from even your generation know who Dusty Rhodes is. Even our generation, we want to see if he could be able to break that. And we're going to see this week 20 years in the making for Randy Orton, the Orton family. He's another third generational wrestler. He's won gold, so he's one of the fewest wrestling family royalty that has never won and put on a heavyweight. And that storyline alone, you could generate an interest. Can he be? When is it the time that right now the Rose curse finally closes? Can it be Cody? Is Cody worthy enough? Something that Dustin, who was supposedly called the Natural, and we'll get to him later on, and that whole storyline will keep fans engaged and invested. And I think that pop and that heat will stay with him as long, even if he does fight Roman Reigns, let's say in SummerSlam or prior to it, and fails the objection, he still has that storyline he can still build. Can the American Nightmare break and get the American Dream of being on top of the mountain?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the thing with Cody right now is that what has people intrigued is the road to him going after the title, And I get what you mean is that, okay, if let's say he does win the championship, what's next, And sometimes, whether it's WWE or anywhere else, sometimes they fall into that trap where it's like, okay, they win the big one, now what, And this happens a lot where it's like the chase was more entertaining than the championship reign, and I guess with Cody it depends on who he's feuding with after winning the championship, which if I were to let's say book it, for example, I would like for him to win the championship and go into a feud with Randy Orton, with their history with the whole legacy thing, That's something that I would like to do, or with Cody to do if let's say he was a champion, or Edge or something along those lines. Have him get those quality opponents under his belt as well. And let's say if things do go sour on him, they can always turn him heel, because as much as he is a top babyface on Raw, he isn't the top face of the company. Roman Reigns is, right? So I think the company would actually be okay with him. Maybe if things don't go so well, they could turn him heel, Maybe bring Brandy along, And that could be an easy heat magnet for Cody, But that's just something that they could do, let's say, down the line if things don't go so well, You have that in your arsenal, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's one thing wrestling in general, all over, like no matter which company you look at, struggles in general with is having that really good, like, relatable face. If you look at every company, no one has that top baby face, if we're being honest with you right now. Like, yeah, you can argue with New Japan about Okada, but it's not like Okada's like drawing like everyone to New Japan, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good baby faces. It's just that some of them are pretty bland. You know what I mean? Like, it's like so it's like, like for now, Cody's a really good baby face because he has a really good story.
He's the best
going.
one right now. If we're being honest with you.
Yeah.
Just for now.
That's for now. I mean, I know Lashley just turned babyface, right? not too long ago. I know AJ's a
But he
baby
is,
face now.
but is
But it's
Lashley really gonna be a top babyface? Probably not. More
no,
likely-
not
Yeah.
necessarily. He's gonna be like right now. He's like what number 2 baby face right now. I'm not saying he won't be. He's not over because people really like Lashley, right? But as opposed to let's say that top baby face that everybody can really get behind, I think Cody's that guy right now. You know, I think you can even say to like you could say Hangman, but then again, it's like
No one cares about Hangman. I'm being honest with you. I even talked with Adam about this. I'm like, deep down, do people really care about Hangman?
I don't know. I can't like if I'm trying to be fair in this, you know. With Hangman,
No,
it's
no,
like
no, MK. Just be honest.
no,
Okay? I know you're
look,
probably just be
look,
honest with yourself, man. Do you care about
I'm
Adam Page? No, I'm not trying to be Adam Page hater. I'm just
I'm
like,
not hating on Adam Page. You know, I
I'm
like
not
what he's.
either.
I'm just saying I'm trying to look at things objectively here as much as I can. People do react to him and do cheer for him, right? So
Oh my God, he's going to the ring!
but they so there is some level of care there. You know, people do care because at least he's still holding the title, right? I think people cared more about Hangman when he was chasing for the championship. Again, it goes back to what I said earlier about, you know, the baby faces are always better off chasing for the title than they are keeping it, which is why I feel like with Hangman, at least for the last 8, 9, 10 weeks, it's been pretty much a struggle for him as champion. You know, that's why I was trying to allude to that. Even though there are people who are still fans of Hangman, there's also a lot of people who are kind of looking at his reign as kind of underwhelming. They're saying his matches are really good, but not everything else is kind of like with him. You know?
You know what? Here's a good question for every wrestling fan out there. Do you guys feel like heels in a weird way have become like the new faces?
Oh,
basically, basically,
Yeah,
which is
like,
unfortunate.
like heels,
Yeah, go.
like considering like wrestling for a while now has broken the fourth wall. Does everyone feel like heels has just become like the new like just relatable characters in a weird way?
Basically,
Yeah,
because
you like the snap, and it started because it all started. You know, we seen Hogan, and he wasn't just the very first one. Hogan, you know, when he first came up, when you're into wrestling, you know, he was the goody two shoes, the face, and then he just snapped, and he just turned, and he saw Michaels snap on Janetti, and you relate to it because we all, as human beings, we have that moment that we could just snap and turn into a heel. So we're like, whoa, you know what? You relate to that line in the sand that you cross to just turn into just from a baby face and just do heels, because that's the nature of the world. You know, everyone. Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because when you think about it, this all did start basically in the Attitude Era, because when you think about it, like humans, like we basically do have no choice but to follow the law and everything like that. So we have no way to really take out our frustration. It's not our life is not like a wrestling match. It's not like if someone does you wrong, it's not like you can get a ref and be like, I'm gonna whip your ass. You know, it's something like that. It's not like you can turn heel.
Yeah.
It's like, but instead we can actually live. You know, again, started vicariously through like Hollywood Hulk Hogan at that time, and then that's why I feel like, especially nowadays, in order to be a good babyface, you have to be like a Stone Cold type of like babyface.
You have to be.
You can't be this ultra good. You know,
you can't. I think that's a big issue here. Is like, I always don't like when you have a guy turn heel, and then let's say later on they turn babyface and they act like they never did anything wrong. You know, like for example, I remember when Seth Rollins was a heel back in like 2014, 2015 time, and then by the time you get to 2016, he's a babyface. And everybody's screwing him over like Kevin Owens and Jericho. And he's like, no, what you're doing is wrong. And I'm like, bro, didn't you do this like a year ago? Like, you're like, what the hell? You know? Same when AJ Styles went from heel to babyface or whatever. The one person that I liked when he was a babyface was Kevin Owens, because he at least acknowledges like, yeah, I screwed over some people in my life, you know? I get that, you know, like that's why I liked when Kevin Owens was a babyface, was because he would always say like, yeah, I screwed people over in my time in WWE, because it's relatable. You know, it's just because you're a good person doesn't necessarily mean you're perfect. And I think that's the big problem with wrestling, is like they portray baby faces as if they're holier than thou, that it's not really relatable to everyone. I'm not saying everybody has to be Stone Cold, and I'm not saying you're saying that too, heel, but it's what makes Stone Cold great is because he's relatable to every man, right? Every person goes through struggles. And when you see a babyface go through some struggles, it's relatable because everybody goes through struggles in life. You know, when a babyface snaps, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going heel. Just like, bro, like we're human. Like, you know, you can still be a good person and snap once in a while. You know what I mean? Ah, damn, like I lost my job. You know, oh damn, like I broke, my girlfriend broke up with me or something like that. Oh damn, I got a parking ticket for no reason. You know, you imagine all that shit happen in one day. You know, excuse my language, but yeah, it's like we're here, and that's the thing. I feel like WWE sometimes they try to make baby faces way too goody two shoes. It's okay if, let's say, you know, one character's like that, but you can't have every baby face be like that. You know,
yeah. I know, like you told me here, like you said you wanted to, you know, take MK and put him through the glass wall like Marty Jannetty. I know.
The only difference is somehow I'll get more over than him.
No, I'm the one that. Hey, I'm the one that's carrying your career. I've always have. I got you those 1,000 subscribers back on the Wrestling Express, and I brought you.
All right.
There you go. On this show.
See, MK, I wasn't far from telling you he wanted Marty Jannetty you right through the barbershop with.
Like, Kev, did I not say let me have MK on the show?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, because I'm the draw. You know what I mean? Have you not seen my Instagram account?
I can kick you off. I can kick you off the show right now.
Dude, I got wrestlers following me on Instagram. Okay.
I got John Cena following on Twitter. What's your point?
Ooh, okay. You know what? I got Ronda Rousey follow on Instagram.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, and I make graphics and. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: when we put, now let's put away the rulers. Now we don't want to have a penis measuring.
But mine's bigger.
And by the way,
okay.
if Manscaped, if you're out there, we could, you know, we got these two guys that need to trim their bushes. Manscaped, we would love for you to be a sponsor of the Heel of the Ring podcast, because Manscaped, when you need to trim your bushes, so these guys can measure their penises, Manscaped.
Hey.
We would love to have you as a sponsor.
We would, and I would just be promoted just for good hygiene. I'm just saying, you know. And
this guy can't be badass. He's Canadian. He's already had a massive.
To be fair, you're right. You know, to be fair, we apologize for everything. And can we also get that Blue Chew ad too?
Well, we'll move on to the next bout on Monday Night Raw. It was the women's tag team between Naomi Sasha Banks defending their Raw titles, actually the tag team titles, against Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. And we've seen the Rhea Ripley being pinned and lost. That it was a sloppy match, but forget about the match. We're talking about the outcome at the end. We've seen this week coming. What's your thoughts?
Finally for Rhea Ripley. You know, yeah, the match was secondary to what happened towards the end, and I'm glad Rhea Ripley is a heel now. Because Raw right now, especially with the women's division, they're lacking heels. So, and if the rumors are true that Rhea's gonna join up with Edge and Priest, I'm like, that's just a perfect fit, you know, and. Because I feel like with Rhea Ripley for a while now has just been very stagnant with these tag teams, right? And it's just kind of like, oh, there's nothing for her to do. I guess we're gonna put her in a tag team with this person and that person and this person, and I'm like, all right, it's like how I felt about with Drew McIntyre for the last 6 months. It's like we're just gonna put you in these filler feuds until you get back to the title picture, which I think that's what they're doing with Rhea Ripley going forward, which is I feel like turning her heel. She's gonna kick some butt and eventually go after Bianca Belair sometime down the line, which so this is actually good for her, you know.
Yeah, I like Rhea Ripley in the heel turn. But the only thing is wondering what's next for Liv Morgan. I think Liv Morgan
I think
she's falling into that Alexa Bliss type of area.
she, to be honest with you, Liv Morgan would wish that she's Alexa Bliss right now, you know. But I guess you would say that because much like Alexa Bliss right now, there's nothing much going for her.
Exactly.
I think with Liv, at least from within the near future, she's gonna be feuding with Rhea Ripley, so at least she has that. What comes after it, I don't know. You know, we will just have to wait and see. You know, people still like Liv Morgan. I feel like some people kind of overhype her a little bit. You know, especially back like a few months ago, where people saying like she should have been the one to take the belt off of Becky Lynch and whatnot. And I'm like, all right, let's relax here. You know, nothing against her, but it's, you know.
What is it that you don't like? Because she fits the boxes and all
No,
that.
I don't. I'm not.
She
I don't.
fits
I
the
don't. I
boxes.
don't. I don't. I don't
So,
hate. Oh, go ahead.
no, because she fits the boxes of like we were just talking about, babyface. She's got the looks. She does wrestle pretty decent. She don't botch moves. She's also, she could do high flying stuff as well as technically sound. It might. She checks all the boxes. I don't see, and I see why a lot of people think that way. Um,
I feel like with Liv Morgan, she needs just a little bit more time, which more with feuding with top stars under her belt. You know, she got the feud with Becky Lynch, which was good for her. You know, I don't like when they rush certain people into that top spot, and I feel like if they would have given her the belt beforehand, I don't think it would have helped her out in the long run. I think her being that scrappy underdog babyface and having to, work her way up would actually do wonders for her in the long run. If let's say this feud is going to be one of those things where Rhea Ripley is like dominating most of the feud, but they have that story of Liv Morgan trying to she has some hope spots and the fans really get behind her. This can actually help her out a little bit, and I just feel like she compared to let's say a Bianca Belair, she's nowhere near on that level of let's put her in the main event, so to speak, of a big pay-per-view. She has the tools, somewhat the tools right now, but she needs a little bit more seasoning, so to speak, as a singles. She's only been a singles for like maybe a couple of years now, not even since after the whole Riot Squad split. So, give it a little bit more time, and I think she'll benefit definitely,
do you
so.
think that she's stuck as a tag team? I'll let you go here in a minute here. My apologies.
Yeah, is she stuck in a tag? I think for her too, she's still kind of stuck in that tag team thing, much like with Rhea. But I'm glad she's one of those girls where I feel like if you want to put her in a tag team, that's fine. But at the same time, it's like people would much rather see her as a singles and get that opportunity. So I might as well kind of have her work feuds with different people, and if and as for everybody else, that aren't doing anything, maybe you put them up in the tag team instead of people like Rhea or Alexa Bliss or Liv Morgan or whatever,
Do you see a tag team with her and Liv Morgan and not Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss? You could call them the new Hollywood Blondes.
That's possible if you wanna change Alexa Bliss back to her regular self, that's possible. And also that would actually be beneficial in a way, because Alexa Bliss, say what you want about her, she's one of the most accomplished women on the roster. This is a person that had 2017, 2018, that was she had a little reign of terror going,
Yeah.
Felt like at one point it was like on SmackDown, Charlotte was reigning over everyone, and on Raw, Alexa Bliss was doing the same thing.
Exactly.
And I think if they put her in a tag team for a little bit, eventually you're gonna get to that point where they have to split, and again, Liv is gonna be working with someone who is a former multiple time champion, again, getting that experience and getting a little bit of that seasoning, you know. So that could work, you know. Plus, the women's division needs more tag teams, so
Right.
why not?
You?
Honestly, I do like the fact that they're probably gonna split because I feel like Liv Morgan can probably go off and do her own thing because I feel like Liv Morgan has a lot of potential because I'll be okay. Let's just be real. Okay, there are some guys out there for some reason that are like, well, attractiveness doesn't matter. If she can just wrestle, she can wrestle. It's like, no, Liv Morgan is really attractive. And I'll be honest with you, I hate to sound like this. Okay, bear with me now. Those type of guys. If she's attractive, that means she has a good chance to be successful in the women's division. And on top of that, she's actually a really good wrestler. So if Liv Morgan can go from this storyline and then go to like that main event form, and the fact that she's already built a good male fan base because obvious reason, and if she can just build now a really decent female fan base, there you go. Liv Morgan actually has a shot to be a really good main eventer in the future. And she already has potential to be that type of wrestler. And as for Rhea Ripley, I'm gonna pull MK here and kind of go into my own fantasy booking, and then have like a long drawn out like episode. But like I was thinking to myself, and I was like, you know what? If Edge is gonna do his own thing, and if Rhea Ripley does join, why not try and go after Happy Corbin and try and make him depressed Corbin all over again? That way, even that way, you have one guy for the mid card, one guy that can possibly go in the main event, and then you have one female in the Brood.
Interesting.
Never thought about that.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe you can even do a funny storyline with it, where like Edge is like, I see your potential. Why don't you join us? And Happy Corbin is like, dude, but I don't want to be depressed again, or something like that. I don't know. It'd be like a funny storyline.
Edge is like, you don't want to be depressed, but do you want a title?
Yeah. Like, do you want to be a main eventer? Do you want to taste of that top? He's like, I don't know, man. I like my money though, and I like my crib in Vegas. He's like, just think about it. I don't know. Maybe something entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll move on from that. So we'll see where those two ladies end up. Next we saw Sonya Deville, of course, inserting herself in a title match with Bianca Belair. What's your thoughts on that feud? We know it's starting to heat up. I think it's someone for Sonya Deville to get pulled over, and Bianca Belair to get pulled over. And just get a continuing title reign.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're actually doing this match on Raw this coming Monday. I thought they were gonna do this at the pay-per-view, premium live event.
What's that?
But yeah, I mean, it's in the name. Come on now. Do I need to spell it out for you, Heel? Premium live event. It's self-explanatory. Come on now.
It's all about the advertising. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought there's look, I agree. I think this is just something for Bianca to do. Becky Lynch is supposed to show up on Monday, so I guess they're probably going to continue the feud with her. Which, okay. I'm just kind of surprised that they're not doing this at the pay-per-view, but I mean, at least it's something for Bianca to do, because they need some challenges for her, because once you get past Becky Lynch and Sonya Deville, the only person you really got left is Rhea Ripley, and I don't know what you do after that. So, you got to start building some contenders for Bianca if she's gonna have like a lengthy run as champ.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. For me, the more and more I think about this, it comes off like WWE had like that SpongeBob scene happen where they're like, "Oh my God, what to do?" Almost like what's his name? But then it was like, "What to do?" They were like, "You know what? Let's just keep it simple. So we have nothing to do really for Bianca after Mania. Why don't we have Sonya come out and actually say she's gonna wrestle again. They were like, you know what? For now, that works. And they were like, yeah, for now that works. And then they had Sonya do the whole thing. So you know what? This is a spoiler again, not a prediction. Bianca's going over when they fight. If Sonya wins, I will be more shocked than when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. We shall see on that. Hey, who knows? It could be, we also Becky Lynch is returning, but don't forget, we still haven't seen Bailey on TV. Bailey any minute should be returning back to action. Also, Asuka, and there could be so many others. So
yeah, where's my girl Asuka? She's like, I know she's getting up there in age, but like she still can work a match and like that, and and when booked right, she's like one of the top females like in that
world.
division. Like, come on, come on, Diddy, wake up.
I think she's still. I thought is she cleared now, or she's about to be cleared from injury? I don't remember what her injury status is with her right now.
Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? We'll keep an eye on that. Yeah. So then we have Veer Mahan taking on Jeff Brooks. That's some local wrestler from Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
Heel, do you know this guy?
Jeff Brooks sounds like a guy that would be my waiter at like an Applebee's. Hi, my name's Jeff. Can I take your order?
Of course he would be the one going to Applebee's, my guy.
What a ham and egger.
This guy. Him and
And
Applebee's.
of course, spoiler alert. Let me guess. He sent him to the hospital.
Yes, he got squashed. It was a typical squash match for Veer Mahan. Once again, Veer Mahan comes out looking like the berserker. Looks like a berserker. A caveman, Neanderthal. So I don't know. 2 weeks in a row. I don't know if this character, if that's gonna be. I think whoever booked this or whoever's created, whoever.
You know what needs to happen?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Fandango needs to return and show him how it's done.
It has to. I mean, whoever's booked the booker, whoever does the creative control in Veer Mahan, man,
I feel like this is one of those things I'm gonna have to give it some time because it's only been a couple of weeks, right? Just to be fair.
Two matches. Yeah.
But I think Veer would benefit having a manager.
How about put him with Jinder Mahal? I mean, after all, they put that one random guy with him. They were a trio like back in the summer, and then they split off for some reason. But if I feel like why did you stop that?
I don't know. I feel like low key. I feel like honestly, Veer would work if he had a manager, by his side, and then he talking for him because. Of course, eventually you're gonna.
Wait. Sorry to interrupt there. I know someone out there in the world is gonna hear this podcast and be like, "Paul Heyman would be a good one because Paul Heyman is always everyone's go-to."
All right. Yeah. It's all right. Enough of that. Enough. But no, it doesn't even have to be like a Paul Heyman or anything like that. It can be someone like low key. Like I always thought Zelina Vega. No. All right. All right, man. No, it's from tonight on Dynamite. No, I don't want to hear that. Okay. No, I always thought Zelina Vega had more promise as a manager as opposed to a wrestler, and so whenever she comes back on TV, I'd much rather.
Veer's manager.
You know what? I'd much rather.
myself at Veer Mahal's new man.
I'd much rather see Zelina Vega be Veer's manager, and talk for him. Because I always thought Zelina Vega was actually a really good talker. When she was with Andrade all those years ago, I was like, man, there was more value in her as a manager than there was as a wrestler, in my opinion. I think that could be a good fit for her, for Veer. But again, it's one of those things that's like, give it some time. And if because they do this with a lot of big guys, they always go through for the first few months. They have them work squash matches and whatnot, and jobber matches and stuff like that. So, it's one of those things you got to give it time. I like the idea that every person that faces Veer, they all get stretchered out. That's funny to me.
It is funny, but you gotta give me a move that you could sell. That neck break, that neck. I mean, it's just as worse as the FTFU from John Cena.
Hey,
he just needs to put more
that's a-
pressure in that.
that's a great move. Don't you insult that move, okay?
I love John Cena, but that submission move, come on.
Hey,
Dude,
Come on,
he
you might
put
as
you-
well-
I'm
if
a,
he-
dude, I'm
might
a
as
Cena
well
fan.
You might as well
Hey.
pickle.
Hey, if he put you in that move, you wouldn't be talking like that.
Dude,
But
dude,
he's
John,
gotta-
dude.
He's got to sell it. He's just there to.
No. The guy. No, what? No, when Cena would do the STF, man, like people would sell it, but like, why they're selling it? He doesn't even put much pressure on it.
Exactly. He
It's like-
doesn't- yeah.
When you see, like, let's say William Regal or Eddie Guerrero would do the STF,
Hey,
it
here's
would
the
actually
secret.
hurt.
Here's a secret. It's all in the maneuver.
Yeah, but at least you gotta make it look real.
Make it look, sell it. That's what I mean. You got to put it over, and
You
guys.
see, it's all in the maneuver. You got to put your legs around the knees, and
Oh,
then
God.
put your
No, all right, man. All right, man.
I mean,
in the maneuver.
all right. So we'll see with Veer Mahan. I personally think they should just go. When you have a chance, guys, on your time, check out the Veer Mahan social media account. His Twitter.
Oh yeah, I checked his Twitter account. Bro.
I wish they would bring some of that persona on Twitter into his character in the WWE in a suit. He should be playing that Andrade move, Elivio move that he has in AEW. Come out in the suit, come out high class, Bollywood, high society guy who's coming in here, and I think he would have got put over. He would have got instant heat by the crowd being snot nosed. He doesn't have to be the next $1 million man, but he could be the next $1 million, Hindi. And my goodness, I think that would have been pulled him over. And I grant that I think you're kind of right that he might need a female
Valet, yeah.
valet. I think he's gonna need something, maybe a young lady from NXT who could work the mic with him and move him. And what you see, be honest with you, when I see Veer Mahan, I see Berserker, and I see and the most top ceiling I can see is Rusev.
I mean, being in Rusev's position won't be too bad. I mean,
No,
it's not a bad position.
That's the highest I could see Veer Mahan go.
Damn.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
I mean, basically, like where Umaga was, U.S. IC title level,
That's what they're trying to force here. But at least with Umaga, you knew he was. You had that you've seen it before, that Samoan bloodline in Haku. He was more like a Haku wannabe with Rakishi had a baby type of move. With Veer Mahan, you don't really see that, and you see more of Berserker, Kamala, wannabe type of where are we going here? Mantar. You see the Mantar. I get Mantar, Gabi Goober type of.
If they're gonna do this kind of thing with Veer, like he needs to do something like really crazy, because I feel like when Mark Henry was going on his Hall of Pain run, he was throwing guys off the stages and stuff like that. Umaga was out here freaking Samoan dropping women and looking like killers, every other week. Like Veer Mahan needs to have those kind of moments to really solidify himself as a killer, Maybe he needs to like throw off freaking Michael Cole off a stage or something, No hate to Cole, I actually like Michael Cole, but you know what I mean. Maybe
he needs to have that. Oh my God!
Maybe Russell Zach Gowen.
Yeah, bring Zach Gowen back and then throw him off the stage.
Something like that. So we shall see. And right now, it seems like we're like a week or two away before the crowd starts booing and let's go to the back. This guy's just a toilet match.
Toilet match.
Yeah,
Toilet match.
He's gonna end up being in the pre-shows, warm-up matches. That's not even gonna be on TV, if this keeps up, because my God, it's not right now. I know they're trying to build something, but man, they're not making it appeasing with Veer Mahan. So we shall move on to one of the most exciting part of the night. My opinion was the famous lie detector test. The Kevin Owens show, man, that was a fun Kevin Owens. Let me give you this, man. Regardless of what he does, he is, going on WrestleMania match with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Regardless of what situation, he is putting everything, anything he does, good or bad, or even this that was supposed to be a comedy skit. We know that, what we already know that, but the way he brings it out to fruition and plays it out was entertaining, hilarious, and man, it was good.
Yeah, that whole segment with him and Chad Gable and Ezekiel, because we found out the confirmation. This is really Ezekiel, um, So for all you people out there that said that was Elias, I hate to break it to you. The proof is right there. You're a liar. Yeah.
You got to remember the name. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really entertaining, And Kevin Owens can make a lot of these things like entertaining. And him working with Chad Gable just made it even funnier, because Chad Gable, man, like you gotta give him his props too. He's pretty hilarious as of late with the whole Alpha Academy thing and the shoosh and all of that. It was a really entertaining segment, It's funny, like this whole storyline a few weeks ago, I was kind of wondering, I was like, what the hell is this? Now it's just like, man, they're actually. This is actually really funny, actually.
I think it's fair to say if you treat whatever his name is, rather I'm going to say his real name, Elias Ezekiel. Point is, this guy is really talented. You just got to use him right, because he is playing this character to a T, and he doesn't even come off at all like Elias.
No, he doesn't.
And that's a good thing. When you can just transition from one character like another, like this guy can, that goes to show you that you have talent somewhere. It just needs to be unlocked.
And remember, Chad Gable has a 2.0, not a 4.0, 2.0, according to Kevin Owens.
4.0 GPA. I thank you.
Yeah, and Chad Gable, he's working well, cutting promos, being funny. His persona. It was the funny over guy was Otis, and now Gable as well. So Alpha Academy, both putting that work in, showing their promo side. Both of them really good. Owens, what can you say? And like you said, Ezekiel, that segment could have went south. It could have been bad, but these guys kept us engaged. They were funny. They were sharp. It was good, and from that, we all saw that he's not Elias, and of course Kevin Owens storms out upset, and then we had that match, with Gable and Ezekiel going at it there, finishing the V of a disqualification. We saw Otis attacking Ezekiel. But all in all, that whole segment, even with the match was a pretty good fight. The fact that it wasn't too long, but it was just enough. What's your guys' thought on the match?
I mean, the match was solid, I enjoy seeing Chad Gable wrestle in the ring. He's really fun to watch. I get this is one of those things where they're trying to build up Ezekiel. You got to remember that up a little bit. One thing I want to know is where they go from here. Like, what if Ezekiel and Kevin Owens become a tag team reluctantly, so to speak. But. Yeah, I mean the match was fine for what it was.
Yeah, Gil, your thoughts before we move on to the next segment?
All I gotta say is, R.I.P. Jason Jordan. I mean,
R.I.P.
Yeah,
dead?
Because he gets to watch Chad Gable succeed and surpass him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, never forget, right?
Never forget, man.
Yeah, never forget.
My black son. My black.
But anyway, but also, I mean, it was a whatever match. I mean, it was there, let's be real. Both these guys are just mainly characters. It's not like we're here to watch them wrestle. But yeah. Okay. I mean, it was just a fun little match there to watch.
All right. So we shall move on to the next fight. Well, and the one that this next fight had my head scratched. It was the Street Profits taking on RK Bros for a title qualifier. Now, if you're telling me that I gotta, for instance, if we're going to the American League Championship Series, and in order for me to go to the World Series or to win the American League pennant, I have to qualify and beat the Astros. Then I'll play the Astros to win the right to go to the World Series. So the RK Bro, I didn't like the way they named this. You just might as well just call it a non-title match. You know, we saw Street Profits taking on RK Bro, and we saw them beat RK Bro via pinfall. What's your thoughts on that? It was a good fight, but
dude, look, man, this is. I gotta go. This whole tag team situation, with RK Bro and the Usos and whatnot, and this match with the Street Profits was fine for what it was, but I'm not. I really don't give a damn about the Street Profits, man. Every time I see them, I really don't. You know.
What are you talking about? They share a lot of things in common with you. They even like red Solo cups.
Oh my god! This is honestly, this is one of those acts. Like, whenever their music comes on, I'm just like, man, I just want to change the channel. Like, I really don't care for them.
They're not that bad. They're actually pretty good.
Well, he's not a fan of the Street Profits. I get it. It's just certain wrestlers that I see myself that I'm not a fan of. When I see them, I'm like, oh. Yeah, I got it.
It's one of those. I'm not saying that they can't have good matches. I mean, we just saw them have a great match at WrestleMania. You know, they had a good match here. It's just like
dude, not cool.
I mean, that's you, my guy. If you want, if you like mid tag teams, then go right ahead.
Mid tag teams, you're the one blasting off for freaking Alpha Academy.
But Alpha Academy is entertaining, though. But nonetheless, one other thing too is that isn't the Street Profits heels right now, or are they baby faces? I don't know where they're going with it.
They're like a Mounds bar. Sometimes you feel like
I'll give you that. I don't know if they're heel or faces, but they are entertaining to me to watch because, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I guess this is just for me personally because I don't mind their whole gimmick. To me their gimmick comes across as just fun, and for me I like just fun gimmicks. I don't know why. That's just always been me. Like, yeah, I like the whole old bad A gimmicks in wrestling. I really do, but I also like just fun gimmicks. Hence why I'm a fan of Santino Marellas or Kanfu Nakis or even Eugene or stuff like that. I just like fun. Not saying these guys are as over the top as some of those gimmicks. Yeah, hey Eugene. Yeah.
I like fun gimmicks too. I mean, I like RK Bro and whatnot. The Street Profits to me are just kind of...
Is RK Bro really fall under the Kanfu Naki thing? Because they're actually taken seriously.
I mean, you can have a different kind of fun. It doesn't have to just mean like there's different kind of comedy characters. So. You can't really, put all fun tag teams the same.
Man, you're just jealous of Kanfu Naki because he wasn't actually born in Milwaukee.
Okay, all right.
And he actually knows how to cook chicken teriyaki.
Wow.
You know what, Hugh? You know what?
Chip, you know what? You just made the list. Oh no! Oh, here we go.
He should have been on the list twice just for liking the Street Profits.
No, that's Joey. That's Joey Gallo every time he's up to bat. You know what? You just made the list, and then Kev, that's okay. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Oh man. So it brings us. I'm gonna skip that whole Edge Damian Priest nonsense because it was a weird promo. They were bringing in some crazy stuff there.
He just doesn't want to be alone in the darkness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess we could probably skip the wedding segment too, right?
Oh, we're not even gonna, forget about that. What a mess that was.
Oh my god. Another wedding.
I
got
guess
ruined, let me guess.
I guess we're gonna go with the United States title match.
Wait, MK.
Exactly.
Wait,
Let's
MK.
go
Let me
right into
guess.
that.
Another wedding got ruined.
Yeah, basically.
Oh my
It didn't
god.
even make sense. It ended with a swap here, there, title defense. I'll tell you one thing. R-Truth was funny though.
Yeah, our truth was hilarious though.
Well, he's always hilarious. Like, let me tell you something. Our truth is that dude that he should be at everyone's wedding. Like literally, like quite literally. like he's just a cool dude. Like they're like our truth is the type of guy that can meet like I don't know, like I'm not even gonna say what's on my mind because I know a lot of people take offense to it, but let's just say he can make the worst thing seem funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's go move on with the U.S. Championship match. Finn Balor and Austin Theory.
It's no longer Austin Theory.
Oh,
It's
true.
Theory.
Theory,
Hey,
yeah.
it's still Austin Theory to me.
Ah, dude.
Yeah.
What do you thought about it, Kev?
Here it is. We have a new United States champion. I hope they don't bury Finn Balor or randomly leading into a release with Finn Balor. But I like the fact that they're putting over Austin Theory. Theory. Excuse me. I'm actually excited to see what Theory is gonna do.
Yeah,
Without
I gotta.
the demon though. Hold on, I want to go first here. Without the demon though, let's be honest. That dude is boring. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I don't even care at this point if they just make him all elite. Like, I really don't.
I gotta say this because I saw this. I saw this all over Twitter for like a good week or so when Finn Balor lost the United States title. And first, let me preface this by saying this. I'm not saying like his run as champion was anything special, and I do acknowledge the fact that he spent a lot of time losing during his run as champion. But at the same time, like, just because one person loses the title doesn't necessarily mean they're buried or they need to go to AEW. Like, I always hate this idea where it's
no, don't take that out of context. I'll defend Finn Balor.
I'm not.
He should have been booked a little bit better. I'll give him that.
No, I'm not talking about you in particular.
Okay.
I'm just talking about from what I see from Twitter, because the moment he lost the U.S. title, I see people, oh man, Finn Balor should just leave, should ask for his release and all that. And I'm like, bro, you say that for everybody, but then when they do get released, y'all be the first ones to be like, oh, why did they release him? So I'm like, what the hell's wrong? So it's like, first of all, Finn Balor, no, I don't think he should be released, because why? Just because he lost the U.S. title? First of all, Finn Balor is still popular. It's not like he put over Theory. He's a popular guy, but he's also a veteran, and he's at a point of his career where he should be putting over guys, like Austin Theory. They said the same thing with AJ Styles when he put over Omos a few months ago and said, oh man, AJ should go to All Elite. It's like, it's just wash, rinse, repeat with these people, because the thing, if you lose one match or you lose a couple matches, therefore you need to ask for your release. And I'm like, all right, just sit down, just enough, and I like Finn Balor, but it's just like, bro, like, I know what they're going with. It's just he's in that Jeff Hardy spot where he's a over baby face, but he's a veteran and he's there to put over some people. Doesn't necessarily mean he won't get an opportunity ever again. I mean, he did main event a pay-per-view with Roman Reigns back in the fall, right? So it's not like he'll never ever challenge for a world title or get any meaningful programs, right? Yeah, it's just like, I think people just need to relax, It's like,
Finn Balor makes, I just looked it up, Finn Balor makes about $3 million a year. So are you going to ask for your release for $3 million a year?
No,
dude, and plus Finn Balor, for the longest time, I've always heard that he's a guy who's always been pretty content about his position in the company. Like, he doesn't scream as the type of guy to overly politic and go crazy about his position. Like, he's always been a guy who's been pretty chill, anyways. So it's like,
not only that. Remember, they're having a big show in Wimbledon this year.
Yep.
And in the UK, he's big. He's not going anywhere. He'll be featured in one of those fights. you know, who knows, getting his hands back and probably winning the title from Austin Theory or Theory and moving on.
And let's be real. And let's be real. If he goes to AEW, what is he gonna do? Wrestle freaking Team Taz for 3 months?
Jungle Boy.
Wrestle Jungle Boy for 2 months and then go back on Dark? Okay, relax. You know, not everybody that goes to AEW is booked better. Okay, you know. So
look at CM Punk. He was wrestling Goldust.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but yeah.
We'll get to that. I can't wait to unload it.
But overall, I thought the match was really good. I thought it was a really good match with Finn and Theory. You know?
And I liked when all the heels came out. You know, and hoisted him there, and then I love at the end, and then Vince McMahon comes out, and that's my boy in the set. McMahon with the selfie, and they're really putting Theory over.
Yep.
You know, I thought when they had him hoisted here, I thought Vince was going to give him the thumbs down to Evolution.
Yeah, but
I was waiting for him to give him the thumbs.
I'll be honest with you, when Batista started doing that, I didn't think it was going to turn into like the one big thing, you know, because Batista turned that into like every time he had to do his signature, you know, the doom, you know, and everyone was like, oh no, Batista bomb's coming, you know.
So that wraps up the edition of Monday Night Raw.
Basically,
I did not watch NXT 2.0, so I apologize. I don't know if anyone wants to mention anything or was worth mentioning.
Kev, if it makes you feel any better, secretly, no one does.
Well, I
like NXT 2.0, but I haven't really checked it up as much recently. But yeah, I can't really say I can't really tell you what really happened on the show this.
MK?
Oh, actually no. Wait, I checked out one segment with Joe Gacy and Braun Breaker, you know, which was really cool. But other than that, I haven't really checked much of NXT this week.
No, I missed it this week. I only know that Natalya now is going to be making some part-time, being on both rosters. With back and forth, which is a good thing.
I saw one joke about Natalya, which was so funny. So, Heel, do you know a movie called American Pie?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so someone said that Natalya looks like Stifler's mom.
Yeah,
you know
what?
Yeah, she kind of does, but here's my honest thoughts about NXT 2.0. Okay, I loved the original NXT, and I actually liked just NXT, you know, back when, like, you know, it was just literally developmental. But now that, you know, present day wrestlers are started to go down there, wins titles, you know, basically everything's really going full circle. You know, you got Dolph Ziggler as the champion, or sorry, now it's Braun Breaker, I believe.
Yeah.
Now that all of that is happening, I'll be honest with you, NXT 2.0 is becoming a big mess, and that's why I don't pay attention to it now, because I'm just like, you know, what is NXT becoming? Is it developmental? Is it now a place where you just want people to just be entertaining? I mean, like, what's going on here?
I honestly had that same opinion about that with the Black and Gold for the last few years, but I actually think that what they're doing with 2.0, although it's not perfect, I actually think they're doing what NXT should have been, you know, which is actually like building, you know, the next generation of talent, you know, because I felt like for a while now, before they rebranded NXT to 2.0, it just felt like it was a WWE version of the Indies, so to speak. You know, with all they brought in was a bunch of people who had a lot of experience in the Indies and whatnot, and they were keeping these guys down there for like 4 or 5 years and whatnot. You know, now I feel like you're reverting back to what NXT used to be back then. You know, which is actually building the stars of tomorrow. You know, sure, do we see veterans coming in?
You brought up a key word right there. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
You know what? You're totally right. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery.
Okay.
But you know what? Today It's a present. That's why they call it. And sorry, today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. And that's
How did
why
you
we need
butcher
to
the
watch.
joke?
And that's
How
why.
did you
And
butcher
that's
the
why.
joke?
That's why
Yeah.
we need to
See,
watch NXT
this
2.0.
and this is the guy who's gonna be the co-host,
That's
man.
why-
All right, put this guy on the list, man.
And that's
Put this
why
guy.
and that's why you need to watch NXT 2.0.
Except you know what? You just made the list. Oh no. Oh, here we go.
And that's why you gotta believe NXT 2.0 to succeed.
All right.
That's the, ladies and gentlemen, that is the heel of the ring botch of the week by your none and no other heel.
This guy. This guy botched his own joke. I'm dead.
It's true though. I mean, Bo Dallas is, in my opinion, I'm not gonna lie. I just found the guy super entertaining. He is the best wrestler to come out of NXT, in my opinion. At least the character-wise.
Listen,
I don't know
like
about
you
that.
mentioned before, NXT had a lot of developmental young wrestlers. Their branding of the 2.0, you guys are not quite seeing what they're doing. They're adding storylines. They're adding guys now in the NXT 2.0 so they can learn how to handle, how to cut a promo. None of these guys that came up on it, or ladies, when I mean guys, I mean both male and female, that rose up from NXT, except for a few, couldn't cut a promo for worth crap. They were terrible. You know.
Yep.
Now they're learning. You've seen there's a storyline now with, although it's a little corny, I'm granted to you, NXT sometimes can be a little corny, but it kind of caters more to the younger adults. I mean, the younger wrestling fans, the 12-year-olds, the 9-year-olds. With Braun Breaker, you know, we saw Rick Steiner got abducted, put away in the cage, whatever the case was. A little bit of you've seen the Pillow when they beat up the Pillow with with Wendy Chu and all that other crap that's going on. I could do without those two couples kissing and making out if they're trying to promote for younger kids. We don't need that.
Yeah,
but the point is that they're getting on the mic, they're cutting promos back and forth, they're learning.
Exactly.
If it looks crappy or a boring product, it's because they're expressing their talents. It's like us here on YouTube. We're not professionals broadcasters. We're a bunch of amateurs talking about what we love is wrestling. So we are polishing and working on our communication skills. So hopefully, knock on wood, we get better and we get picked up by a major podcast company, Blue Wire, Odyssey, CBS podcast, so forth. But we have to put in our work here, learning how to communicate, make the show go perfect and providing an entertaining and grab subscribers. So that's the way I view NXT 2.0 currently right now.
I actually agree with you on that. That's why I actually like the 2.0 version than I would the black and gold, more specifically the last few years of black and gold. You know, like I like the black and gold NXT too, but I felt like for the last couple of years before they rebranded, it got very stale. So and I feel like again it became more about like trying to beat AEW or trying to be a super indie fed with all these matches and whatnot, and not enough building these guys up for Raw and SmackDown, which that's what they're doing now with guys like Breaker and Carmelo Hayes and Toxic Attraction and whatnot. Because look, these guys are younger guys, but they're also, you know, that's why people can envision seeing a Braun Breaker or a Carmelo Hayes being in, you know, Raw and SmackDown within the next couple of years or so, and being the future faces of the company. You know, these are the real pillars of tomorrow, the future. You know, along with, let's say, an Austin Theory. You know, and that's what they needed, and that's what they've been lacking for the longest time, was because we didn't have those people that, hey, we can see these guys being the stars of the next 5, 10, 15 years, you know, because for a while they've been bringing in people who are, you know, a little bit more experienced, but, you know, but been in the business for like 15, 20 years, you know. Damian Priest is like 39 years old, but he only showed up on TV like a year and a half ago, you know, and that's the thing, you know. It's like, you know, I'm not saying like, hey, a guy like Damian Priest can't succeed in WWE, but it's like, it's hard to envision someone like him with all that experience that, you know, he will be in the company for the next 20 years. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. You know, we didn't have that crop of guys since like, you know, 10 years ago with the Shield and the Four Horsewomen and all of that, you know. And I think now we're starting to get that with NXT, which is why I tend to like a little bit more with what they're doing with 2.0 as opposed to what they did with Black and Gold in the last few years or so, you know.
I agree with that. I get that. So will keep an eye on the NXT next week. You know, what we express our opinions, and now we come into the AEW, the Dynamite program. Started off with Tony Khan. Had a big announcement that he has to tell the whole world.
DJ Khaled, another one.
Another one, and they announced a big announcement and a coffin match, and then it opens up with the two of the most geriatric wrestlers in AEW, the CM Punk, who I cannot fight in UFC. I'm 0-2 in the UFC versus Gold Dust.
Yeah,
I heard the match was pretty good.
The match was a really good match, but you could tell that they were old. They were, if it wasn't, you know, you could tell Dustin Rose is on his last legs. That's just to combat. They knew, AEW knew, and this is where Vince McMahon and WWE is in the head of Tony Khan. They live rent free in AEW because they knew that Raw started off with Cody Rhodes, so they had to bring a Rose first, and they had to, you know, wheel in Dustin Rhodes. They had to, give him a couple Percocets and get him up there and some C4.
Are you saying that Dustin Rhodes is on that perk angle mode right now?
He looks he looks like when he walks, his body hurts. It does. And kudos. It was a good match. He gave his heart out. He's a performer. That's what they do.
I think AEW, honestly, that's always been their formula for the longest time, where they always put their best acts first. You know, like if you look at how AEW is structured with Dynamite every week, they always put their best or their most important acts in the beginning of the shows, which is why you tend to see sometimes they always end off the shows with a TNT title match or something, or let's say a mid-card match, so to speak, in the main event. You know, they always put their big stars in the beginning, and I guess it's just a way for like, hey, start of the show, here's our big acts that they can see. Oh, maybe this is a way for us to get the most amount of views right off the gate, so to speak. You know, I guess that's basically their formula, and I feel like that's been like
they want to hook you. They'll give you the main entree right there, and you're like, whoa, this is the opening fight. And now your levels is ready. You're going in with low expectation. What is this AEW? Let me watch this. They give you this main event, could be on a pay-per-view kind of fight right there, and the performers. And granted, I got to give credit. We have to give credit where credit's due to AEW. Whenever they book those opening matches, they do deliver. When the crowd is over, the matches are really good matches. Not for nothing, of course, they had a lot of training in the world wrestling entertainment for all those years. Of course, they want to be called wrestlers in AEW, but they're really sports entertainers and superstars, and they show that on the opening match. That's why he puts an opening match with that. But all that digress. They put a good program and it gets you hooked. And like what you said, guaranteed with AEW, they're going to close with two things there. One of those or a mystery new WWE ex-WWE wrestler signed, and it's going to come out in the last minute of the show, or last 5 minutes, and you're going to see at the end of the program Tony Schiavone wet his pants. He's here, oh my God, he's here. Yes, we gotta go, we're out of time. That's the same thing, rinse and repeat with AEW. But it was a good, we got to give flowers where flowers due to AEW.
Yeah,
they were very extremely well matched. You saw the handshake with the two wrestlers. You saw CM Punk get the victory on Dustin Rhodes, and you saw the two-man embrace and give themselves a nice hug. It kind of looked like Dustin Rhodes I thought he was going to say that no mas. He was going to, call it quits, or he might. That could have been his last fight, but I got vibes like that on that fight. What's your thoughts, Heel?
My thought was simply, why? Okay, I was thinking the same thing as Chase Oliver, our guest from a few weeks ago for WrestleMania. And ironically, like I said, he said the same thing I was thinking. He was like, "This was basically 2K Universe mode on like steroids." He was like, he was like, "This is like what would happen if you just play the game and you see this match on your video game. You're like, why is this the match?" And I was like, this is exactly what I'm gonna say on the show because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, why is this match happening? I'm like, the thing that AEW or whoever decided to go with the natural Dustin Rhodes needs to understand is if you have a character that's so over like Goldust, it doesn't matter what you change your name to be. You're always going to be that character. And that's just how it's always going to be. Because, yes, I get it. Hardcore fans, they're going to want to try to change the fact that he was Goldust and everything like that, or they want to cheer for the natural, or whatever have you. But the point is, the most iconic character you ever played is Goldust, and that will never change. Just like in TNA Impact, and granted they have to do this probably because of copyright, but they have the Iconics as the inspiration, which is fine. They're the Iconics. That's what they're most popular as. I'm not saying they're on the same level as Goldust. They're nowhere near that, but you get the point. And when I saw this match, number one, this goes to show, no offense, but they've been putting CM Punk in some really like bad matches. I can already tell. At least I'm using them really well. CM Punk needs to be used. CM Punk needs to be used in a lot more better way.
Yeah, I mean, look, CM Punk, for what it's worth, he's putting on good matches. I mean, but the problem is like they're putting him against people like
that
he's putting
over.
Well, to be fair, it's like if he's not facing like if you look at his entire run since August, right? You know, aside from wrestling a guy like Darby Allin and MJF, for the most part, he's been just wrestling either tag team guys or lower tier guys on the roster.
You know what?
Yeah,
I think it's very simple. I think it's very simple, especially with him slowing down. I think the best way to use CM Punk, especially knowing that guys like MJF, Darby Allin, and all those other guys are about to up and coming in AEW. If I'm in AEW, I'm saying, you know what? Especially after that night, I'm turning CM Punk heel. Because number one, most of his moves can be used in the slow capacity. The running knee, the GTS, and all that. CM Punk doesn't have to be a fast-paced wrestler. So why not just let those young guys wrestle CM Punk, let CM Punk get them over, and just simply like make CM Punk that heel that can help others get over. It's that simple.
But I thought, to be fair, that could be the case, but I don't know.
MK, come on. We just had a conversation about this. People are going to respect CM Punk no matter what.
I mean, they are.
Making him heel, especially with his mic skills, it could be a great thing.
I mean, it depends on what version of Punk do we get, because are we gonna get the?
I want the Punk that I want Punk to just flat out say what he's probably feels deep down. Let's be honest with you, he has felt like this for a long time. He said it in a few interviews when he left WWE and all that. He basically felt entitled. In WWE, he felt like he should have been in the title match and everything like that. He didn't like the fact that he had to wrestle Taker. So why not get that version of Punk into AEW? Get the CM Punk.
You mean whiny CM Punk? So basically, so basically just regular CM, just normal Phil Brooks then.
But obviously,
so basically himself, because that's who he is, my guy. Like CM Punk is one of the biggest whiners I've ever seen in my entire life.
Punk and have him on TV and be like, you know what? I deserve to be in the title run. Why am I here wrestling guys that are below my level? That would get a lot of people to watch AEW. I feel like, and because you're adding a sense of realism to the company.
But I also sorry to cut you off.
Gonna happen.
But I also feel like people. But I think if this was anywhere else, I would agree with you. But this is AEW we're talking about. The fans honestly worship CM Punk
Yeah.
Whether he turns babyface or heel, it's not gonna make any difference. He's still gonna get a huge pop. You
Right.
know, he's still gonna get a big reaction. Like, bro, CM Punk can talk crap about the fans and sleep with all the fans' wives and stuff. They'll still cheer for him. You know, he will. If CM Punk can insult everybody's beliefs and all of that, and yet they'll still chant CM Punk because the fans worship the ground that this guy walks on. You know, even though, to be honest with you, even though he is talented and he is good at certain things, he is kind of overrated in my opinion. But that's a different story for a different time.
I mean, sure, but again, we just talked about this a while ago. I mean, the fans are gonna cheer for who they want to, regardless. I mean,
yeah. So why turn him heel though? So you're kind of counter.
Why turn him heel? It's a simple answer. The fans are gonna cheer for whoever they want to, regardless. And on top of that, if you're AEW, you just want to be entertaining. So
yeah, but doesn't that kind of counteract your point though? Because that's a bit contradictory. You know, with all due respect.
It doesn't. It doesn't counteract my opinion, because in wrestling, especially nowadays, you just want things to come across as just basically, you just want to get a reaction. And yes, I get it. They technically are either way. But I feel like this is the better way, because you're helping young talent get over, and you're getting a lot more of, I guess. I don't know. Maybe
I think I get what you mean. But it's like, for me, it's like, but my whole thing is like, I don't like to see. I'm all for CM Punk wanting to, you know, get younger guys over, and so to speak, and that's fine, you know. But I also think it doesn't help him in his case, where he's having 20-minute matches with everyone, you know, whether it's young talent or older talent, so to speak. Because if this is a guy that's going to be built up to go after the world championship, he kind of at the same time needs to beat people in under 5 minutes. You know, not every match that he has to face, not every match he has to be in, he has to have 20-minute matches with this guy and that guy and this, because it's also you have to tell. Yes, we all know wrestling is a work, so to speak, but you also have to make it seem like, okay, I'm CM Punk, I'm an accomplished guy, right? I'm a former world champion all over the world. It shouldn't be taking me 20 minutes to beat Lee Moriarty. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean, right? It's
you know what's funny? I just thought of a good gimmick for CM Punk, but it's true. It's so corny. It might just work, but it's so corny. I don't see them ever doing it. It would be CM Punk coming out and talking about how he can beat everyone up in under 10 minutes. But then he has like his own manager, but his manager doesn't talk for. I guess you can say like a valet actually, or it can be a valet or manager, but he or she helps him cheat, and that's how he beats everyone up in under 10 minutes. It'd be like just a funny gimmick, but yeah.
Or he beats everybody in 10 seconds like he did to Sean Spears. Yeah. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
No, but Pope makes a good point. He's been out of wrestling for so long. Maybe it's him telling the bookers, I need a match for X amount of minutes because I really want to get into wrestling, you know, wrestling ring and shape. But remember, he's 42 years old right now.
That's true.
He's got to, you know, they also got to try to cut his matches a little short. You know, 10 minutes, it's okay. You know, not less is more sometimes with CM Punk. But yeah, they are building. And then after that match, after CM Punk defeats Go Dustin, you see they go and he sees the champion, Adam Page. They see head face to face. They look at each other and they know like we all know everything is pointing towards them going for that world title fight. And we all know that's coming up. And I think it's double or nothing. They'll be fighting for that world title. Although something sneaky tells me it's going to be a triple threat. I have a feeling.
Who's going to be the third person?
Well, they got 3 weeks, 3 or 2 weeks before that, or 3 weeks before that even said anything can happen. The way they'll throw a dart, and whoever that lands on, they'll put that guy in the triple threat match.
Wow, thanks, Kev. Now you got that song stuck in my head because the way that came off. You know, go Dustin, go Dustin, go. Go Dustin, go Dustin, go. Yo, it's a gold machine coming out here with a golden and yellow.
Wow.
Have you ever seen Gold Get Down? Go the Rock show with Rhythm. Yeah, I know that's a really throwback for anyone that's a fan of the Ninja Turtles. But
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to
have you
wait.
ever seen Gold
I
Get
mean,
Down?
To be fair, we will just have to wait and see where they go with Punk and Hangman going forward. So yeah, I mean that's all I can really say much from here.
And then we have the second bout. This one was a pretty entertaining fight. We saw Blackpool Combat Club, versus Brock Anderson, Lee Marinardi, and Dante Martin. What's your thoughts on that one? That was a pretty good fight.
I didn't see the match actually. I gotta be honest. I only checked out two things from AEW, which was the Punk match, and the big announcement that Tony made later on in the show.
We'll get to that right now. We saw Bullet Club win the fight. It was all in all a really good fight. We saw paradigm shift by Moxley. Moxley gets the victory. And after that, we saw William Regal citing his friend Arn Anderson and their history together and prepping his team. We didn't expect the young Brock Anderson was good. Regal is expecting to lead. Regal's trying to leave his mark here. We shall see there. So we'll move on there. We'll go down to the big announcement. The big announcement, of course, Mr. Toupee himself comes out, Tony Khan. He has an announcement to make. And
TJ Khan, another one.
He mentions a big merger, the biggest merger since Kentucky Fried Chicken merged with Taco Bell. And we have it. AEW, New Japan Wrestling, and when they mentioned that we're going to do this pay-per-view together, when they named it, I thought they were talking about that Tony Khan got into the porno movie business. He called it the Forbidden Door. And I said, what? Can you say it again? Is he doing a pornography movie? But no, that's the name of the pay-per-view, the Forbidden Door, with New Japan Wrestling and AEW together.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like this has been a long time coming, and you know what? I don't really watch a lot of New Japan.
I never.
But at the same, but at the same time, I think this could be something interesting to see. I know this is something that a lot of fans have been wanting to see since the inception of AEW, and whether or not AEW and New Japan can go head to head. So I mean, it's actually exciting for AEW and New Japan fans, especially with the last couple of years. New Japan has been struggling a little bit, but if we get to see some really fun matchups, for me, the intrigue with this is that I get to be a little bit more exposed to the New Japan wrestlers.
To be exposed pornography.
Okay, all right.
He's getting exposed to the Forbidden Door. Wow, and
wow.
We want to keep it PG. We want to keep it PG, but
I didn't say that. Okay, I didn't say that. Okay, you're taking my words out of context. Okay, all right. But yeah, I think for me, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I get to see these New Japan wrestlers that I don't really see. So, and going up against these AEW wrestlers, I guess that's the intrigue for me. So, yeah, I mean, this could be fun, Wow.
So for your Forbidden Door could be fun. Wow.
Hey, I didn't say I'm gonna go through the back door, okay? I just said. All right, keep it PG, gentlemen. We got kids watching.
Me personally, hey, more power to it. The only thing is, when they book this, who's gonna put who over? If you're gonna have one of the New Japan wrestlers come and put over AEW certain type of fights. What happens when they return back to Japan and you lost to the, especially in the culture of the New Japan Wrestling, when certain wrestlers, fail or lose, it's a big deal. They don't get over by the crowd and so forth. It'll be interesting to see who gets what pulled over. Let's see.
I feel like I feel like the way they're probably gonna structure it is like I feel like for the big matches, AEW is gonna mostly go over, but for like some of the undercard matches, the New Japan guys
Okada
are gonna
goes
go over.
over though. There's no way Okada doesn't go over in his match.
Who? Kalanick? You want a backdoor
Oh,
Kalanick? What?
Kazuchika Okada.
Oh, I think you said you want a Kalanick.
No.
Like,
Oh, I mean, the question is, will Kenny Omega come back in time for this event?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think he's still injured. I think who knows? He might make a promo coming out and showing his character's face, or maybe do. But I don't think he'll be. I don't think he'll be cleared to do full wrestling combat.
Okay, that's cool.
He might get a big ovation, actually.
Oh, he will. Of course, he will. Definitely, he'll be over, and that's probably why they'll bring him out there. You know, possibly interfere.
Oh, you know what would be amazing? You know, it would be actually a great throwback, just for old time's sakes. If he came out, cut a promo, and we didn't know this, but he was actually healthy, and then out came like Naito or Okada and challenged him to a match, and that was your main event.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah, that would break wrestling internet for you for the night.
That, I mean, for those who know, because you mentioned this guy Terracotta, I have no idea who the hell he is.
Kazuchika Okada, yeah,
him
he's
too,
the John Cena of Japan. Yeah,
him too, and Ricotta Cheese could help him out as well. And
Whoa, what's going on here, Kev? This guy's talking about ricotta cheese. We gotta put this guy on the list, man.
Yeah, we got Ricotta Cheese. What'd you say?
What's going on?
I never heard of Terracotta.
Terracotta. Hey,
Terracotta. Now all I know that they're merging, and there's a Forbidden Door and Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Notice how he doesn't put himself on the list.
I never put myself on the list.
Well, you got to.
You're on the list.
No.
I don't care if you play it or not. Yeah.
All right. You know what happens. So no, it'd be fun. I am gonna be honest. As much as I make you fun of the Forbidden Door, and the mergers of the two wrestling promotions, good for them. Good for them. I wonder if they're gonna sprinkle. Of course, they're gonna have to sprinkle some Ring of Honor action in there as well. With it, they're gonna. Samoa Joe will be on that card some way, somehow, by hook or crook. He'll be in there. He's got to, like my main man, Alex Coquito says he needs to lose about 30 pounds, immediately.
By the way, where is he? Isn't he supposed to be on the?
No, he didn't. He has his own thing currently today. No.
Okay.
Yeah, he has his own thing. But we're thinking about him though. We wish he will be here. That'd be cool.
Nice.
As Pope says, watching GCW Indie Wrestling later with Cody, just finished the Nets closing. Yeah, he's giving us a little update about the world of sports.
Well,
so we'll move on. So you saw New Japan Wrestling owner, promoter come out, handshake. We saw a promo cut. We saw Adam Cole say that he's one of the biggest stars in Japan, and this was made by him. He cut a promo. It was all cute. I want to talk about the next thing was the fight between Warlow and the Butcher. And you saw the Fury fight already happened, folks. The Fury fight already happened at 5:00 in the afternoon for Pope.
Fury won.
I wasn't going to spoil it for him, but... I wasn't going to spoil it for him because he said he was going to go watch it. So I said, all right, I'll leave it alone. All right, okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
I wasn't going to spoil it so I kept quiet and I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. Let him go watch it.
Yeah.
So now we go to Warlow versus the Butcher, and Warlow enters the arena, and as soon as he's in the arena, he got handcuffed. A little bit over the top, but I like it. And then when he finally comes out, you see MJF sitting on, I forget the other guy that's with him. This big Sean Spears. I'm sitting with him on top with the popcorn. They're throwing popcorn on the crowd, and they tell him, "Hey, bring that pig out here." But with no intro music. And he comes out, I think AEW failed here because they wanted to try to create the crowd to sing Warlow's song, like the way they did with Judas, in my mind, and the crowd was
not gonna happen.
It didn't happen, and they failed on that.
See,
All in all, though, Warlow and the Butcher had a really good fight. Although you could tell Butcher was too big for Warlow to do certain type of wrestling moves on him, though. But like he'll say, like Pope was saying, they look like Warlow's gonna be the next Brock Lesnar. The way they're pumping him up with the power moves and the strength. What's your guys' thought?
As for the singing part, that's not gonna happen. Theme songs had to have like a nice organic jingle. You know, it just has to happen naturally. Like I get it, we get onto hardcore fans for like singing along, but it does have to have like a nice certain jingle to it for you to sing along to.
Like you suck.
Yeah, and
You
MJF,
suck.
he's not gonna like. I'm glad they're recognizing him as like their main star, but he's not gonna help get everything over. I mean, like, yes, the guy has been compared to the Miz already, but again, he's not the Miz yet. Let the kid develop. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when a kid gets called up to play for like, you know, a major league team and he's doing great, but and then he automatically gets compared to Derek Jeter or something like that. It's like, no, you can't do that yet. And like, you got to let him play a couple more years or something like that. It's like, no, give it time. He's not there yet. Just give him time.
Yeah, MK, what's your thoughts on the Warlow and Butcher? Did you see the fight first of all?
I didn't see the fight. I didn't see the fight. No.
Don't spoil the fight, by the way, like guys.
Like I said, I didn't see much of AEW this week, so I can't really make comments on that. You know?
All right, so I'll say that it was Warlow took care of business. He's getting a lot of heat, good heat, a lot of pop from the crowd. And right now, in the words of, you know, if you watch Zoolander from Mustafa, you know, Warlow, he's so hot right now. So he's hot furnace. He's on fire, and he's trending for that feud with MJF. That's going to be a good feud there. You know, it was, you know, to see that going on and to see the power of Warlow just to power slam, a power bomb Butcher, and Butcher's no little guy either. Phenomenal task there. Of course, they handcuffed him back, and I like the fact that when they were going to handcuff, he was going to make that security guard flinch and fall on his keister. That was hilarious. The intimidating factor of Warlow, phenomenal with that. So we move on to the next bout, which was the Owen Hart Federation Men's Tournament Qualifier, Jungle Boy versus Kyle O'Reilly. Did you see that fight, Heel?
I think Kyle O'Reilly won, if I'm not mistaken. And when I saw that, I was like, why? Like, I get it. You want to put Kyle O'Reilly over because he's the most popular out of the two, but Jungle Boy really needed this win. He really did. And you're just going to hold your homie back like that? I'm like, okay, whatever, UW. You do you, boy.
I only have one question. They didn't put up the full brackets for this tournament yet?
They're making it up as they go along, in my opinion. They don't have, you know, they have the brackets, but they don't have any names to it. Who's fighting who? Every week it's a qualifier match for the Owen Hart tournament. They're milking the living for Jesus out of this Owen Hart situation to the point that I think Bret the Hitman Hart got disgusted and he signed with a contract with the World Wrestling Federation, World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. Bret Hart has re-signed with WWE. I don't know what capacity or what state.
I think he still has a Legends deal with them, and then he just like renewed it or something. I think low key maybe Bret's kind of thinking like, bro, for the longest time I wanted WWE to like acknowledge Owen Hart, but you know Owen's wife is not letting it happen. But she then wanted to work with Tony Khan and AEW, you know, and he's probably thinking like, bro, this is something that I would have wanted WWE to do because Owen Hart has had more history in WWE than anything else, you know. So I don't know. Some people think like this is a little bit too much exploitation of Owen Hart in AEW.
To the fifth power. The guy never. The guy's never. This company never existed. You know.
The thing is, I think this is just more of like. I'm sorry. Who was Owen's wife again? Martha, right? Hart. That's her name. I guess it's for. I think she has so much disdain from work from Vince McMahon and that whole situation that it's like, you know what? if we're gonna have Owen Hart be a part of wrestling again in some capacity in terms of like his history and whatnot, I'd rather work with Tony Khan, you know. And I guess that's just kind of how it is. I guess I don't know. It is what it is, I suppose. I'm just wondering, like, how come they haven't like pulled up the brackets as they go, which is kind of odd because
Again,
they had this.
They don't have it. They don't know who it is.
I mean, don't they have like 1,000 people on their roster? You know, so I don't get it. I thought they were supposed to be on top of their stuff right now. You know.
Yeah. They go by. They touch the temperature, and they have guarantee you they have open slots in case they sign in case the WWE releases a wrestler, they're gonna pop him in there. We'll put him in. We just signed up for the Owen Hart tournament.
Don't forget, GJ Khan, another big announcement just in case.
Do you just said TJ Khan?
Yeah, DJ Khan, another one.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It's just weird because
I think it's too much. I think they're exploiting this Owen Hart Foundation tournament because, you know, that is his name, but the wrestler portrays to Vince, and if you notice, they don't, you know, to the World Wrestling World Wrestling Entertainment again. I'm surprised that Vince don't turn around and, you know, do a Hart Foundation tournament.
I mean, he I think it's just, I don't know, maybe.
Well, we already have the Dusty Rhodes Invitational Tag Team.
Well, not just that. I think it's just doesn't want to have to deal with Owen's wife and all that controversy. That's kind of the problem, because for the longest time, people wanted like Owen Hart to be in the Hall of Fame and all of that, and even Brett did too. I think even Brett has some heat with Owen's wife, you know, because of this whole thing, you know. But I don't know. It is what it is, I suppose. You know, if you look back at that, you know, that Dark Side of the Ring episode of Owen Hart and all of that, it's just, I don't know. It's weird, but some people think it's exploitation. To me, I don't really care for this tournament, you know. But I don't know. It is what it is, I suppose.
Right. I agree with you there. We saw Hook make his appearance.
Yay! Okay.
You
mean Dark Matt Riddle?
Or some people think this guy, man. This guy got Gohan hair looking. This guy looks like Tom Holland from Spider-Man. You know? It's
no, like, he's Matt Riddle secretly. He just wrestles for two different companies.
Dude, is Hook a teenager, or is he like 18 or 19? Because I always assume like they just letting a teenager wrestle every other week.
He's a young kid. I think he's 21 or 22 around there. Because I remember when Taz used to do the radio show back in New York for CBS Sports, and he had his wrestling podcast. I would listen to it, and he would talk about his son, the lacrosse player. And I know at that time his son was playing lacrosse in high school, and I'm not mistaken, I think he was in college as well. So I know he's of age, but he does look extremely young. Impressive, you know. He has that persona of Taz when he first came out with the hood, looking down. You know, that mystique, not talking much, going in there and dominating. We see Danhausen has a super hard on for Hook. And we'll see on Friday what he means by that. He keeps following him, trying to do this stupid curse. I don't get. Can you explain to me the character Danhausen? What's the big deal? Why is it this guy has such a big pop? I never heard of him myself, being maybe a wrestler who's been away, a wrestling fan who's been away from wrestling and started getting back again into it.
I didn't know much about him until like maybe a few months ago. I guess he was kind of big in ROH, I think. Someone can correct me on that.
I wish Alex was here. Alex would have told me.
From what I hear, he's related to the family from Wizards of Waverly Place.
Okay, we're not bringing. This guy's bringing Disney Channel shows from mid 2000s. Okay, all right,
all right. And he's like their cousin or something like that, and that's why he does what he does. And
I know he got over by doing like YouTube videos and stuff like that. I think that's how he got his name out there. I remember.
Well, his family also helped, you know, in Waverly.
course.
Okay, that joke just went south because the people who are over the ages of freaking like 27 may not get that joke, but I'm just saying. But nah, I don't know. I mean, Danhausen's okay. I mean, he's kind of a, you know,
Does he wrestle? He looks like he can't even walk.
Okay, I'm just saying everything is not as it seems. Okay.
Okay, stop singing the theme song. All right.
I have no idea what you're talking about here.
No, it's a sitcom from a Disney Channel show. So it's from like 2007. Come on, man.
All right. So we'll move on from there. We saw Hook made his appearance. You saw the promo between Sammy Guevara, and of course Scorpio Sky, and Dan Lambert wants a rematch for the TNT title match with Ty Conti, Stageman, and all that. And so they're gonna have a title match that's set up coming up soon. But we have another Owen Hart tournament women's qualifier: Britt Baker versus Danielle Kamela. The match, we all know Britt Baker was not gonna lose that. So if you wanted to go at that time at that time of Wednesday night, I think that match was around 8-9 o'clock ish. You could have went and taken a shower or taken the trash out if it's trash day the next day, because you already know what was gonna happen. It was an okay fight, wasn't all that. You saw Britt Baker was gonna win, and she won, and she advances on that.
I gotta be honest. What's the hype with Britt Baker? To be honest with you, nothing against her, but what's with people overhyping her? I always find her very average.
I didn't care about this match.
I always find Britt Baker to be very average, but people are propping her up like she's like, top tier. I'm like, bro, like, come on.
I don't see it either.
But I guess she's over and people like her, but she's a heel. I don't know. She's whenever I see her in the ring, like, she's very like average at best, And maybe that's just me being nice. I don't really see anything really special for Britt Baker. I don't know. People have been telling me for like over a year, like, but remember that great match she had with Thunder Rosa and that unsanctioned match where she bleed? Yeah, all right, whatever.
All right.
It was.
Yeah, she was the hometown girl and all that crap.
I mean, she had one good match, and then she had one good match, and then all of a sudden it's like everybody's like, man, she's like the greatest female wrestler in the game today, and I'm like, all right, just stop.
Stop with that.
Is it? Yeah. Why? Because she's with Adam Cole or something or
that's
whatever.
His girlfriend. Yeah, that's his fiance girlfriend.
And what's Adam Cole doing these days, man?
Adam Cole, yeah, he's another hack. And
I like Cole, actually. He's one of the guys I actually like from the Elite, but I don't know. People have been telling me that this guy is having a much better run on AEW, and I'm like, that's what
all hardcore fans would say, though. As soon as the guy leaves WWE and goes to another company, he's having a much better run.
Yeah, because
the same thing with Miro. Miro's having a phenomenal run.
He had a good run for like 4 months, but then spent the first 8 running around getting angry about crashing a video.
Name me one thing Miro has that's more over than Rusev Day. I'll wait.
None, because he had the people said, "Oh, what about
at least Rusev Day still had Lana."
Yeah, not just that. At least, bro, when Miro went on that dominant run as TNT champion, it was cool and all, but it wasn't anything new. This was something he already did when he was the US. Yeah. He did when he was the US champion, right? So it wasn't like. So it's not like him in AEW, he's elevated him. It's not like he's in a higher spot on the card. He's still in the exact same spot. Andrade is still in the exact same spot than when he was in WWE. Malachi Black is in the exact same spot when he was in WWE and AEW.
I forget he's
and practically buried. And practically buried in AEW.
And Pac, same thing. Pac, Neville is another one. So it's like, I'm not even trying to bash AEW, because I'm just like, when people tell me like, hey, everybody that leaves WWE or gets fired from WWE and go to AEW, they're gonna have a much, better time there. And I'm like, no, look at all these people who came from WWE to AEW. I'm not talking about the Punks and the Moxleys. I'm not even talking about them. I'm talking about people like the Adam Coles, the Malachi Blacks, the Ruby Sohos. I'm just like,
He's
dude.
buried. Yeah.
And I'm like, come on. Like, Malachi Black had like a good like little feud with Cody, and then he has a stable, which I'm like, okay, but they're fighting scrubs for the last 6 months. I'm like, alright. Andrade has like another manager every other week. Pac, I don't know where the hell has he been. Is he still with Pentagon and Phoenix? I don't know. So I'm just saying, it's like not everything is greener on the other side. I'm just saying. So not me try to bury AEW, but let's stop with this narrative that if you go to AEW, your career is going to be better there. It's not, especially with how many people they have on that roster. Do you think someone like a Keith Lee or a Swerve Strickland is gonna get a higher spot on the card? Maybe not. There's way too. Keith Lee, sometimes I forget this guy is on AEW. Which is unfortunate. And the guy's only been there for like 2 months.
Yeah. And speaking of that, about Andrade, he closes out the event on a coffin match with Darby Allin. And I'm like,
Darby? Yeah.
Darby Allin. I said, damn, Andrade just got there. Andrade, like you were saying, are they really gonna continue to bury Darby Allin here? He's with Sting, no matter how much you put him with Sting, with the persona, with the face paint and all that crap. Like, is he really gonna lose his own fight in a coffin match? And I saw it and I don't remember this. That's how much of an impact this fight was on me.
Darby won the match, right?
Yeah, Darby won, and
thank goodness.
It didn't. Yeah, thank goodness won. But what happens now to Andrade Elite though? That's like, dude, he wants to be he wants to be a bigger star than what he really is. And Vince saw that for what he really is, and now we see him here in AEW. Maybe he's not cut up to be main event high level talent.
Dude, there's way too many. First of all, it's like when it comes to Andrade, look, I can tell from a looks perspective that okay, they see potential in him, which I do too. Even when he was in WWE and he was with Zelina Vega, I was like, okay, if they present him properly, I'm like, he can. There's potential there. He's not very good on the microphone, but with him having a manager, that's a good thing. And I'm not talking, and I mean a real valet or a manager, not Jose the assistant or whatever he is. But when he was in WWE, at least he was a U.S. champion. At least he had like classic matches with Rey Mysterio. You know what I mean? At least he was in a featured role with him in. A consistent role with him and Zelina Vega and Angel Garza, Here, it's kind of like, okay, he's just having a match 1 week and not really much story there. Then he's with the Hardys, Matt Hardy, but he's not. It's just like, again, he's not really, his spot on the card hasn't really elevated when he left WWE, And now he's in AEW and he's still in that same mid-card spot, Yeah, he can have good matches, but no one was denying his talents in the ring. It's just people wanted to see more than just, oh, he's just a mid-card guy. And in AEW, he's just a mid-card guy, just like a lot of people who came from WWE to AEW. A lot of them are mid-card guys. The only exception that I can see who got better coming from WWE to AEW, to me, was FTR. And that was up until recently. Because FTR, for a little bit, wasn't really used to their fullest potential up until maybe the last year or so. So, I'm just saying.
And they're rumored to be heading back to WWE.
Which, to be honest with you, I don't think they will. And nor they should, in my opinion. Because I feel like there's a little bit more juice in the tank for FTR. Same with, I've been hearing rumblings with Moxley as well. His contract may be up, and I don't see him going back to WWE because he's in a current storyline with the whole, with Bryan and Wheeler Yuta and Regal.
I kind of like that angle that they're playing.
I mean, that's cool, you know. So it's like, you know, I don't think FTR or Moxley are gonna go back to WWE anytime soon. And plus, I think the only time I feel like they will go back is if WWE improves on their tag team division, you know. And I think that's when FTR is gonna go back to WWE, but not right now. Especially with them having a lot of momentum right now, coming off of those matches with the Bucks and the Briscoes and stuff.
Well, their contract is up in July, and there's talks about it, and it's getting hot. They're seeing the success with Cody, and a staple here, maybe with Cody bringing in here like AEW guys, who are also providing them with a little creative control in their tag team. A lot of rumors I'm hearing out there about that. It should be interesting to see because they will be free agents soon. You could see them fighting that AEW / New Japan cross promotion, and maybe that'll be the exit for their company. They're out of there. Who knows? We'll keep an eye on those guys there. All in all, that's the conclusion of Dynamite with the coffin match. You know, of course, Sting always comes out, trots himself out there. Always chaotic scenes at the end. You know, interference. It's like the same rinse and repeat with Darby Allin. You know, they come out. A couple guys start kicking his rear end. Sting comes out and does, you know, what Sting does, you know, with the bat and, you know, a couple of shots and, you know, the crowd, you know, it's like, you know, okay, what next? What, all right, what next? And I think that act is becoming stale, in my opinion. Then the Hardys and all that, and you know, it just, I don't know.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, I suppose. I mean, there's some good stuff on AEW.
No,
It's just I have to say that because I don't want to make it seem like we're only crapping on AEW, right? But you know, there's some good stuff there.
It's still a difference too. Give it that.
Well, to be honest, I don't really like to use that excuse. Oh, there's still an infancy. I can't really use that, but. You know, especially this is the same company whose owner keeps saying like, "Oh, we're better than everybody else. We're better than WWE." So it's like, okay, well, put your money where your mouth is, and you know, you can't use the excuse like, "Hey, we're better than you guys," but yet we're still a young company.
Really hit its prime until like 5 years, and what?
Yeah, but TNA didn't really. The way TNA started and the way AEW started was two different things. You know, TNA in the beginning. For a good 2 years, we're doing weekly pay-per-views. You know, with AEW, they already was on TNT. You know, having weekly television and stuff like that. You know, the way both companies started was too different. Was a little bit different. You know, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just I can't really use that excuse of they're still a new company. They're almost going to their fourth year, and look, each year, you know, like they're steadily improving in terms of ratings, because if you look at the ratings 2 years ago till now, at least it's increasing a little bit. You know, they're increasing their threshold. They didn't reach past their 1.4 million mark, but they're still their average week to week has improved bit by bit. You know, so there's that. They are. You know, there are a lot of upcoming shows in the West Coast. They've been almost nearly sold out. So again, there's some success there. You know, even to the most diehard AEW haters, you know, you gotta at least acknowledge the success that they're having right now. You know. Yeah,
and I can see why there's really no excuses, because they did start out with a much more higher budget than TNA. So.
Yes,
I'm still gonna give it some benefit, you know.
It's just that and then that's fine. It's just that I think with me, it's like, you know, if this was 2019, sure. Now we're just 2022, you know, and they got this big roster, and you know, it's time to put up or shut up, you know.
Now that fans could go in the building. Before, you know, it was something good. It was different. I do want to say one thing that I like watching more AEW when the pandemic was going on. Was the fact that they bought their roster. Their roster was so large that they could fill up the front, at least the front rows. Looked like they were full of fans. You know, when you had Billy Gunn and his sons in the front row, and some of the wrestlers cheering and all that, and it made it seem more viable, more I don't know. To me, than watching a bunch of TV screens like in the Thunderdome.
True, true,
It was
true.
much more lively. I give them that innovation in AEW. AEW, for the most part, does a few things that are pretty cool, but I say it once and I say it again. It's just rinse and repeat. WCW, in my opinion, watching WCW.
And look, there are a lot of good things that happen on AEW, and we'll praise them for it. But just because, and look, if I'm being honest, I'm more of a WWE fan, but it's not me being like tribalistic or anything like that. There are people who prefer AEW over WWE, and that's cool.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, and that's totally respectable. No problem, right?
Is that
It's
a Roman
just
Reigns one?
no, but what I'm basically, what I'm basically saying is like, okay, you can like what you like, just don't be rude about it. You know what I mean? And at the same time, it's like, yeah, there are a lot of things. There are a few things that I do like about AEW, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm gonna look away whenever there's something bad on TV. I'm more of a WWE fan, but even I criticize about certain things about that company too. Doesn't mean I hate it. It's just that I'm gonna point out the bad things that I don't like.
No,
So-
we are being tribalistic. I mean, we're Roman Reigns fans, so
For the tribal chief.
yeah.
No, but all in all, but it's really, but not for nothing, for a Wednesday night, and especially in the winter months, AEW wrestling does provide an entertainment, a value. It is, the crowds. I tell you one thing, the crowds are a little more livelier than
I
usually
agree.
they say
I agree.
WWE. They're more livelier.
agree.
They captivate more audience. It's not to the level of ECW type. Although ECW was a small atmosphere,
Well, I hate to use this
setting.
excuse, but hardcore fans are a lot more easier to please. They just want to see a match, and then the WWE audience is a lot more harder to please because they want everything. They want, they want
they want storyline.
they want a match. They want
the experience. They want the whole experience.
As I would say, they want the whole enchilada. Yeah, like you said.
And also, yeah, and I do agree. And it also depends on where AEW has, been putting out their shows in. So it's like, of course, if you're going to places like Chicago and New York and stuff, I'm again not making an excuse or anything. Of course, you're gonna get those big crowds and whatnot, those really lively crowds, And I want to see what they do in the West Coast, and I think they're gonna get a big pop over there too. That's something that I will say with AEW. They've been very consistent when it comes to like the fans and the crowd. They're always hyped for it. I don't ever really see with AEW where it's like you go through a week where the crowd's not doing much. Maybe when you watch Rampage and the guys are tired because they've already seen like a 2-hour show, But for the most part, when you watch Dynamite, everybody's really hyped about it, which I like. I like seeing that as opposed to watching SmackDown and they're in the middle of nowhere in North Dakota or South Dakota or something, and the crowd are sitting on their hands or whatnot. I don't like seeing that. So,
SmackDown likes to welcome you to Dayton, Ohio.
Right, but you know what? It's up to the and I know the wrestlers try their best, but they got to tantalize the crowd as well, and also when it comes to Rampage, since it's recorded and everyone knows it's a recorded program, the people in the arena are like, this is recorded. They're not really, like you said, they're already tired that out. They aspirated so much energy because they know it's live, and then when it comes to the taping of those shows, they're like, like you said, fatigue.
Exactly. So yeah,
that was the same thing that used to happen with SmackDown when they used to be recorded Tuesdays to go on Thursdays. The crowd knew it was recorded and it wasn't that lively. And like you said, they take a lot of the SmackDown programs to middle of nowhere, middle of USA, which is nothing wrong. They're entitled to receive WWE live entertainment wrestling, but I wish there was a way that WWE knew how to invigorate that crowd and get them popping.
I think it's a little bit different because with Rampage, they book Dynamite and Rampage in the same building throughout. But with SmackDown, it's like, okay, they tape it on a Tuesday, but they air it on a Thursday, so to speak. You know what I mean?
And it's a whole different venue, different crowd and everything.
Yeah, which I'm glad. Trust me, I go back and watch old SmackDowns back in the day, but even I hate the crowd sweetening and the fake crowd noise. That's the one thing I hate watching the old like Ruthless Aggression SmackDown on the
Mhm.
network.
Mhm.
You know, it's like, oh, come on, man. We all know they're not really cheering for Mark Jindrak.
Yeah,
You
you're
know?
right. You're right. You're right. You're right with that. You're right
Yeah.
with that. But well, all in all, did anyone watch SmackDown? I personally
I
did not.
I did. Wasn't a nothing show.
Okay.
I think I don't know. I think we were talking about a little bit of this before we went on air. Believe it or not, I think you were asking me about something about SmackDown heel before we went on air. I don't know if you remember the question you're about to ask regarding SmackDown or SmackDown in general. I think. Do you remember the question though?
Nope.
Heel?
I know. I think I remember. The only thing I remember of SmackDown is basically the bloodline, and I think Riddle fought, and then the end. That's
Here's
basically
here's
all I talking
here-
point about SmackDown.
here's I gotta make one point about
Oh yeah,
SmackDown.
Sami Zayn. I think. Or was that on Raw?
It was a lumberjack. It was a lumberjack
Yeah.
match with Sami
Here-
Zayn.
Yeah, and Roman Reigns is like, someone's talking about us. That's not gonna stay with me.
I'm glad you brought up Roman Reigns, and this is I gotta say about this. First off, SmackDown has sucked for a while now, and I feel like it's been sucking since it started sucking a little bit since the draft back in October, but it really like started kicking it like into not being a good show since like the Royal Rumble, and I just feel like now with Roman Reigns as being the unified champion, you know, and you see it like he's barely been on the show over the past couple of weeks, Raw and SmackDown, and I feel like SmackDown is it's suffering because we're not getting enough of Roman Reigns these days, right? And we're getting a lot of endless rematches and whatnot. Like how many times we're gonna see Xavier Woods versus Pete Dunne, you know?
Yeah,
Like
please,
like
let
come
that
on.
go already. Yeah.
You know, like I'm like, come on, like let's cut the.
All
like,
I gotta
let's
say is, all those years ago, I think it was like 2019, Shane McMahon lied to us. He was like, "You guys are ruining your product. I'm gonna change it, do it for the better." And that was a storyline, but you lied to us, Shane. How dare you?
and you know what? And this is the thing. I know they're gonna do a unification match with RK Bro and the Usos, but I'm probably one of the only few people that hate this idea of a unification, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of fans out there that actually wanted the tag team division to be unified, but I don't. I was not a fan of the idea of them doing a unification for Roman and Brock. I'm certainly not really a fan of them unifying the belts here. You know, I just feel like all of this is just really unnecessary.
Well, you
You
know
know?
what they're doing. It's the hype up of the storyline, and it's gonna
Yeah,
make it a lot more.
I get that, and I understand that. Like if this is maybe a short term thing, I get it, but it's like I don't want to see. Like first of all, here's another thing too. Even if the Usos win this match, it's not like they have fresh opponents to work with, right? They already fought the New Day.
Well,
They already fought. They
that-
already fought the Street Profits. They already
That's
fought the
the thing.
Mysterio.
That's the thing, though. It's like, you have a good point, and I'm with you on that. However, I feel like sometimes, like I'm the only one here that's a fan of like old school wrestling, in terms of like I like for people to hold the belt for a long time, or the title. Sorry, I like people to hold the title for a long time, and I would actually support the Usos winning the title for RK Bro because I think it would be really cool for Riddle to finally move on. And on top of that, I think it would be cool for there to actually be, again, like I keep saying, some more obstacles in the company. Because, again, we don't get those obstacles. And the one thing I can give WWE is, besides the IC title, they're finally creating a lot of those obstacles. You know, and those are going to create really good storylines down the road. Now, if they don't, that's a big flop on them.
I agree with that. You made that comment about it on the last podcast, and I understand that. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying the Usos winning is a bad thing. It's just like, where do you? And I'm okay with the Usos and Roman having a lengthy run. You know what I mean? This is something we haven't seen, especially with Roman holding this belt for over 600 days. You know, and this is something we haven't seen since like the Hogan days. You know what I mean? It's just like, for me, it's like, at this point, especially with the Usos, it's like they don't really got any fresh opponents right now. It's not even so much of them holding the belts for a long time. It's just that they don't have any fresh opponents coming out of, the pay-per-view on next Sunday, I believe. So it's like, okay, they win the titles and they're gonna feud with RK Bro for another couple of months. Then what? Are they gonna go back to the Street Profits again? Are they gonna go back to Ray and Dominic again? Are they gonna go back to the Usos, to the New Day again? And it's just like, and then it comes with another question: is, are they gonna end up ending the brand extension as well?
I just feel like a lot of people today don't have really like good attention spans, man.
No,
And-
there isn't any good attention span. This is what I would propose. This is me, just me. You have the unified heavyweight champion because it allows you to be on both Raw and SmackDown. Now, you know that SmackDown is on Fox and USA Network has Raw. And you want to please. Vince McMahon is doing his thing with 3 different networks, with Paramount, which is the Peacock network, as well as USA, their shareholders, as well as Fox. What WWE needs to do now, emphasize on the United States Heavyweight Championship should be the feature belt on Raw every night. That's your main event. You can have your heavyweight champion appear on both shows, a unified champion. And on SmackDown, your Intercontinental title be the main staple, and you put it over wrestlers that are going to get over, like you said, heel with the obstacles and with the challenges, and you feature those belts. The Intercontinental, why on SmackDown? Because Fox, let's face it, Fox channel reaches throughout the internationally. So you make that your IC, and of course USA Network, you put United States title on there. Similar to a TV title, and of course your heavyweight title. Now, when it comes to the tag team division, I'm with you, MK. Who are we going to elevate? Are we going back to the same? Maybe the tag team titles does stay unified, so you could bring both, be able to go on both brands and fight. You see, the women's tag team is a brand that is not separated by networks. It's one unified tag team title. Although we have 2 separate women's champion, because there is no Intercontinental or middleweight or whatever you want to call it. And women, that works, and that it pleases both your networks. But it also helps you bring, since you have NXT, and they're learning how to cut promos then in the future, and learning how to be on the mic and performers. Now you could bring some of the NXT people up to work either on SmackDown and Raw and help those elevate those areas as well, and now you keep the ratings up, new fresh storylines with new wrestlers being developed, and then it pleases your ratings and your network partners, and then of course your heavyweight champion. When you think that person is over enough on that network, they want to give them the title to go cross promote, you could do that if you're in WWE.
You can do that.
And hold on, and this is why I love the titles going on the Bloodline, because they are the main ones being featured on TV every week. So why not put the title on them and give those titles a lot of importance? That way, no matter who wins it off them, it's going to be such a big deal. And again, like I said, if WWE doesn't go off of that, then yes, I will consider it a flop, and I will raise my hand.
I don't think it will be a flop because of how dominant of a run Roman Reigns is, and how consistent he's been over the past 2 years, and how fans are still intrigued in what he's doing. It's just that for me, it's like, I don't want to get to the point where...
I hate to cut you off, it tells the story, by the way, because Roman went to the Usos, and he said you two will get unified or whatever, like my brothers or whatever.
Like I said, if this is a temporary thing, I have no problem with it, right? That's fine. It's just that I don't want it to maybe lead to them, let's say, merging the 2 rosters again, and I would hate that, because I think that won't benefit for both. I think for one, if let's say they said, tomorrow, hey, we're going to go back to just having one roster again, and SmackDown just becomes a clip show again, like what it was.
No,
like,
I don't think that's
yeah.
gonna happen. I think
Yeah.
this is just a storyline of like the Samoans, aka the Bloodline, just dominating both brands.
No, but
And
like you mentioned, the rosters back and forth. If you merge both rosters that continue, what's gonna happen is you're gonna see the same wrestlers fighting on both shows. They want, and you get guys buried. I get what you're saying.
Exactly, and I don't know why some fans want to see that. It's like I see that a lot. I'm like, bro, like.
And they're the first ones to complain. Oh God, we're gonna see this
guy
my again.
God.
That was the complaint he had with John Cena. Oh, we'll see John Cena on Monday, and then we're gonna see him on.
Bro,
if you
ever watched SmackDown in 2015, like, bro, how many times do you guys had to see Sheamus versus Dean Ambrose every other week? You're like, come on.
No, yeah,
like,
I get you. It gets stale.
And I look, if it's a temporary thing just to make the Bloodline seem overly overpowered, no problem, right? Yeah, and look. Even if you wanted to keep the unified tag team champions and the world champion unified for the next little while, even after that, okay, whatever. But I feel like it can work either way. You can either have Roman drop both belts or the Usos drop both belts. Either way, if this is a temporary thing, let's say it lasts for a few months, then that's fine, you know? Or maybe Roman drops one title, but then he still holds the other one and has another dominant run. Either way, I think this would help too. I think one thing I do like about this is that with Roman holding both titles, he can potentially not only put over one person, but he puts over two people, right? And
you know what I would do with Roman actually? So I would have Roman wrestle 2 matches at SummerSlam. The first one he wins. And I'll make it about maybe 10-15 minute match. And then the next one, in people's mind, they're probably going to be like, the next match will be him versus Cody at SummerSlam. If you're going to be like, oh, well, it's a guarantee he'll win. But instead, I would add a little mystique by having the Usos attack Cody. And then add that mystique of who's really going to win. A tired Roman Reigns or a battered Cody Rhodes.
I get that, but what I'm saying is, like, you know, with him holding both of them, it's like, okay, he can potentially put over not just one but two people, you know, down the line. Not the same time, but like, not at the same time though. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying like in one night. I'm saying like, okay, he loses one, and then 6 months later, so to speak, he loses the other one, so to speak. You know,
I'll be honest with you too. You know, it'd be a phenomenal story. I don't know when their contracts are up or in AEW, but we know it'd be a phenomenal story. If the Usos do, which I think they will, unify the tag team titles. If he can convince the Young Bucks to come over from AEW to WWE and win those titles,
imagine they bring in the Elite, Kenny, and the Bucks versus the Bloodline. You know how much. You know how much. There's gonna be a lot of fanfare with that match. I'm not gonna lie, you know, but yeah.
Especially that match. Imagine like a six-man tag like in Chicago with that match. That's gonna be the reactions for you.
I mean, yeah, but overall, like this whole situation, it's like, okay, if it's a temporary thing where it's for a few months going into the summer, that's fine. But you know, we'll just have to wait and see where it goes. So, yeah.
All right. Do we cover everything, Kev?
I think we cover everything because unless if you want, I don't know if anybody saw AEW Heat last night.
Don't. This guy said AEW Heat. I was gonna say AEW Velocity.
Okay, even better. Or AEW Challenge.
What's next? AEW in your house?
No. Or
not for nothing.
AEW Jacked.
I watched that event. I wish I had my 2 hours back, or whenever that was. It was bad.
People were talking about the Jade Cargill match. What was that whole thing about?
That match was okay. The only thing is with Jade Cargill and Marina Shafir. This is not MMA, lady. She's doing the leg kicks, and not for nothing in MMA. If you get hit with those leg kicks, you're not able to walk. and you're not able to even, your legs will get mush. And Jay Cargill didn't sell it. You're getting hit that day, and she didn't sell it, and she still used her power moves, being kicked in the legs, being able to pick her up. Jade is a good wrestler, great performer, awesome. I like with her staple ringside, the baddies and so forth. But she's got to learn. Yes, you're on the indestructible force. You're over, but you got to learn how to put your opponents over as well. You're making wrestling what wrestlers hate to hear. You're making it look fake.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, she has the I think that's the thing. Like, I feel like she just needs a little bit more experience, and she just needs to sell a little bit more. But other than that, like, she has potential to be like a top star in that company. I like Jade a lot.
She's good too, but she's getting in the territory of danger where talent around her will not want to put her over or wrestle with her because she's making it look, like I said, she's making wrestling look fake.
Here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, good. You're good. I'm
so yeah, here's one thing. Do you kind of feel like with, maybe someone like a Jade or people who are kind of like in her situation? Do you feel like she gets fed a lot of like advice from people that she's trying to, like, let's say one person's telling her, hey, don't sell, but then you have another person telling her, oh, you should like sell for other people? You know what I mean? Especially for people who are like rookies, for example. Do you feel like people in that situation, they hear so many different advice that they tend to, like, not focus and not do so good in the ring? Do you feel that?
No, not to the degree. It's just like you might be right. That may like you're invincible. You portray that you're invincible, or she's been giving the red carpet in this in AEW that she may need a nice slice of humble pie.
No, but so what I'm basically saying is, like, okay, so let's say if you're Jade Cargill, you're a rookie in the business, right? You're supposed to be, you're taught maybe from your trainers or from the bookers. They're saying, hey, you're gonna be our Goldberg of this women's division. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna kick some butt. But then again, maybe there are people in the back who's telling you, hey, this is AEW. You gotta be this. You gotta have longer matches. You gotta do all this extra stuff. Especially as a rookie, you're learning all these different things, and it's like, what am I really supposed to do? And then maybe she goes out there and it's like, man, am I supposed to have longer matches, or am I supposed to not sell for you? I don't know what it is, and I think it's maybe there's a lot of people, telling in her ear, like, hey, do this, but do that, but don't do this and don't do that. Like, sometimes I tend to see that, especially with like people who aren't that experienced. They always tend to mess up, and maybe they're just people in the back telling them, hey, don't sell for this person. But then another person say, you gotta sell for this person. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's maybe she's one of those people that gets a lot of different opinions, and she doesn't know how to like handle it, so to speak. I don't know. Maybe that's just a kind of a theory that I'm thinking of.
I mean, we'll see if there's any truth to that. But other than that, that was really the highlight. You had Eddie Kingston versus Daniel Garcia. Eddie Kingston, Eddie Kingston. Guys like him. He's like a hardcore legend. He belongs. He's an ECW wrestling hardcore, but his ceiling. He's just there. You had Lance Archer versus Senenico, it was called. I mean, whatever. You also had Adam Cole, Tohumi Irishomi.
Oh, okay.
You had a stupid interview with Tony Schiavone with Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland talk about Taz and whatever. It was really like, oh, I wish I had my time back. You of course you had Tony Schiavone, another interview there, which it was like a big mess of you had Jamie Hayler and Tony Storm and Britt Baker.
It sounds like a nothing show.
It was. There was nothing that said, wow, and then Tony Khan dares to say that his numbers are low because of wrestling bots. No, it's because you're putting a piece of crap out there on Friday nights. You had a chance last week while it was live to be an impactful show. You could have put some guys over. You could have made some impact, and you gave us, the Great Khali 2.0 come out, and you gave us a match with 10 minutes of chest slapping, Yeah. It's a bad product. Yeah.
It is what it is. Do you got any last words to say, Heel?
No, I said everything I have to say.
So we'll keep up, man. That's the show, man. We only know that Becky Lynch will be returning Monday night on Raw.
Nice.
So other than that, we'll keep it here. We thank you guys for joining us on the Heel of the Ring podcast. And like I said, let's pin those likes. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and let the wrestling be with you. And guys, good night, man. We'll see you next time.
I'm awesome! You people bought a ticket to see me, so shut up!
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you live under a rock,
I might grab a bat, I don't know, my rap, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something